Welcome back. In this lecture, we'll be talking about leading and management, some topics that are usually not very clear or confused at the beginning of a leadership journey. So hopefully this will help you clarify them. As such, in this session, we'll discuss the difference between them, and then we'll go in depth into different leadership styles and roles that will be useful for you and for your leadership toolkit to pull out of when you see the need. And then we'll end with discussing on why reflection and self-awareness are very important for your development. So, what is the difference between a leader and a manager? Take 5 minutes in your groups, discuss, and come back. Depending on what you discuss, you might see that some of the answers you put are already here, but the main keys that I would like to highlight are the following. Leaders, they focus on a vision, on a future, on a bigger, ambitious ideal. They have collaborators, that is, they work with people together to make this vision come true. Remember the duck? That's where they come in. Their main form is inspiration. They're inspirational. They want and they lead people to want to follow them. Their focus, their unit of focus of who they work with, who they help develop, is people. And they attain so-called power through influence and charisma. What else did you put? Now, for the managers, we see that they focus on efficiencies. Their objective is to optimize processes. They have workers who follow them due to the command system that is in place. Their goal is to be productive. They are trying to make the most out of the systems and structures that they have, and hence their focus is on them. And finally, as I mentioned, they attain their power through position. Their power is gained because they have a title. Leaders, on the other hand, don't need a title for this. Did this match what you found? If it did, great. If it didn't, see how they complement each other. Let's use this as a working definition when we try to discuss the differences. Now, are they exclusive? Can you only have leaders and only have managers? When do you need one or the other? Take 5 minutes to discuss and come back. So, we saw that there's a difference between leadership and management. What's the difference then in approaching how we develop them? Well, according to David Day, he identifies two main aspects in which they are different. Management focuses, again, on enhancing task performance. So then the development of it is on specific knowledge, skills, or abilities that work on known problems and provide known or not that uncommon solutions. Leadership development, and if we go back to DAC, this will be even more resonant with you. Leadership development focuses about the collective capacity in order to engage situations that might be new, that might be volatile, that might be uncertain. So it focuses on building the capacity of groups to learn their way out of problems that could not have been predicted. So, how is the development process different between the two? We've already discussed that. What I'd like to do now is for you to try it, and that we go back to the water. Your lecturer will have materials for you to build the tallest tower ever. The idea here is to follow the instructions with the tallest tower winning. Your lecturer will tell you when the time starts, where the materials are. Good luck, and see you when you come back. So, how was it? Did you make the tallest tower? Did it stand? These were all fun and games, but there was an underlying reason why we were doing this. Time pressure and working with your group. Why did we do this? So that we could do this reflection. So, take a look at these questions. What did you observe between the different groups? Did some work more coordinately than others? Did some have split within the way they worked? What role did you play in your team? Were you quick to grab the lead and say, this is what we're going to do? Were you quick to act? Did you stand back and watch to make sure things were happening? How did you collaborate with others? Did it work? And how did you feel as part of a team? Take 5 to 10 minutes on this reflection and come back. Having discussed these reflections, the main idea that I'd like to introduce with you now is, are there different ways in how we lead? You probably saw that different groups manage the task of building the tower differently. What we're going to do now is look at the styles and roles of leadership. What these help us do is help us frame the idea of what are different leadership approaches and how do they work. This is important because it helps us in the following points that you see here, which is understanding where they work, what the environment is, which styles we tend to use, and how we can select them depending on the need. Now, there's a key point here that I need to make between the difference between styles and roles. And the best way I've been able to explain it is through an analogy with football. So, if you're not familiar with football, think of any other big team sport. Style refers to how a player will play the game. Are they aggressive? Are they passive? Are they always passing? Are they more of a dribbler? Do they like to center? How they play the game is their style. The role is the position which they play. So are they a goalie, a defender, a midfielder? Keep these differences in mind as we cover both leadership styles and roles. The idea is for you to be able to have a clear understanding of both so that you can pair them as needed. So, leadership styles, we refer to complementary behaviors, so how someone acts. Individuals and cultures may have preferred styles. You may have a preferred style to lead in a way that is providing a vision. Cultures may have a preferred style which is democratic. We'll cover those in the next slide. But keep in mind that it's important for you to start tuning in and seeing what kind of styles are preferred by yourself, by the people around you, and by the culture you're embedded in. This is because no one style is ideal for all situations. You need to be able to draw on different styles depending on what's happening. It's not the same to lead a Fortune 500 company that has been raking in profits for the last 5 years and is on an upward slope than it is a company that is about to go bankrupt and needs a quick turnaround. These are moments when you need to pull on your leadership styles to address the different situations. You will see, as I mentioned, that some roles overlap with particular styles. For this, keep in mind on the coach when we go into talking about the roles. So, these styles are based on Daniel Goleman's paper, Leadership That Gets Results Done. I recommend you read it for a deeper insight, but for now, I'm just going to briefly cover what the differences are. The first one is affiliative. Affiliative leadership style is a leader whose main concern is the well-being of his people. The bottom line is everyone doing well? How can we make sure that everyone is okay? This is an affiliative leadership style. Authoritative leadership style is a leadership style that focuses on someone providing grand, bold visions and being inspirational so that people want to follow them to those visions. They want to go along with them. Authoritative leadership styles are what you tend to imagine when you think of a powerful leader. Mandela, Gandhi, whoever is common in your culture, that through their vision and their charisma and their inspiration have had hordes of people follow them. The next leadership style is coaching. This one focuses more on a personal relationship where the coach helps the coachee in the specific aspects that they want. They can help them develop their communication skills, they can help them develop their self-awareness, and so on. Coaching is a leadership style that is much more personal. Now, coercive leadership style, as you can see from the picture, is a command-driven style. It's a leadership style that says, you will do this because I say so, right? This is what you will probably see when you need to do a quick turnaround. It's not always a bad style to use, sometimes it's needed. But again, I highlight here that if you only use a single leadership style, you will not be able to respond to the changing and uncertain challenges that you will face in the future. So carrying on. Democratic leadership style. That one focuses on the majority. If the majority agrees to go left, then we go left. If the majority agrees to go up, then we go up. Here, you might think, well, this is the same as affiliative, but it's not, because the bottom line here is not that everyone is okay, it's what the majority wants. So if 51% in an extreme case want to go left and 49 want to go right, we don't look for the middle, we go left. This is a leadership style that is democratic. And pace setting is a leadership style that is usually employed by people who are high profile, high intensity workers. So the way that this works is the pace setter will say, this is the level that I expect of you because this is the level I expect of myself. I bring this much energy or performance into what I do, I expect you to do the same. Okay? That's the pace setting. I'm going to go over a quick exercise with you to see if you followed these. So, which leadership style would say this? Do as I do. Take some time. Come back. If you guessed pace setting, you're correct. A pace setter will tell their collaborators that if you want to be on my team, if you want to follow my vision, then you need to do as I do. Perform like I perform. Next one. Come with me. Take some time and come back. So, come with me is something you will hear from someone who has a bold and inspirational vision. This is the authoritative leadership style because it's inviting you to say, this is the future that we need, this is the future that we want, come along. Do what I tell you. Take some time and come back. This one should almost be innate at this point, but it's coercive, right? It is a command saying, this is what I'm asking you to do, so do it. Let's decide what to do together. Take some time and come back. Now, if you caught the difference on what I explained previously, you will have realized that this is a democratic approach, because what it's looking for is for everyone's opinion to decide how we move forward. Different to this next one. Let's do what is best for everyone. Yes, it is the affiliative, of course. The goal here for this leader is to make sure that everyone is as best as they can be, personal, professionally. And finally, the last one, coaching, would say something like, how can I help you do it better? So, leadership roles. We're going to base this on the work of Andre Taylor in his paper on understanding 6 water roles from 2015. Your lecturer or professor should have shared with you this already or will share it with you now. A leadership role refers to, again, the individual part that someone plays when addressing a goal or challenge. Understanding different roles can help you think, when do you need to move into certain roles and which ones do you feel comfortable in moving? Roles tend to be complementary. That is, you can have different people playing different roles at the same time, but you don't need to have them all the time. Again, effective leaders learn to play different roles in their careers depending on what they need. And each role has specific attributes, and we're going to use these attributes as described by Taylor in order to help you prepare a self-awareness aspect of your individual leadership development plan. So, take some time and look at the 6 different roles as presented here. Come back. So, you've either read the paper or discussed it with your lecturer, or in some way you're familiar with these 6 different roles. The champion leader, who is the one who takes ideas from their inception into an actionable plan. The enabling leader, which helps others, facilitates their work in order so that change can happen. The cross-boundary team leader, which works across disciplines, sectors, organizations, that again, as the name well says, it crosses boundaries. The thought leader, who is a respected authority in their field, and so their judgment of phenomenon, aspects, processes is very highly valued. The strategic leader, which has an overview and likes to develop strategies on how to move forward, or the trusted advisor, that is a basically impartial and trusted person who is called in when an objective view is needed. Right? You should have seen all of these. The question for you then is, where are you? What kind of leadership role do you see yourself filling? Or do you see yourself needing at this stage? For this, it's back to the water. So, taking the tables from Taylor's paper that describe the competencies of each of the roles, you will now look and identify in a role or roles that you find best suited to you for your current or future careers, and identify 2 strengths and 2 opportunities to improve. After this, after 20 minutes of looking at these, you will then pair up and discuss your choices to get feedback. And then you will do a group overview to see if there's commonalities of what kind of leaders, what kind of leadership roles you and your peers are developing into. Take your time, good luck, and then come back. So, 20 minutes was probably not enough, but it's a start. And hopefully it inspired you to keep looking and understanding what kind of role you wanted to uptake or wanted to develop for yourself. Remember, this is all part of your leadership toolkit. Now that you've discussed that, we need to move into reflection and self-awareness. Because if you found these competencies or opportunities to grow that you found, how can you develop them? One of the fundamental aspects for developing leadership is self-reflection. Self-reflection allows you to understand and look at what is happening around you and in yourself and think about how you can change it, how you can react to it, how you can learn from it. The question for you, though, as you have seen here, is how can we create spaces that allow for this development? Are these spaces common in your school experience, in your work experience, in your family experience, in your social experience? Where or how can we create these spaces for leadership development through self-reflection and self-awareness? Take some time, discuss with your colleagues, and come back. Now, if you've pinpointed some of these spaces, my challenge for you is this. Identify one change that you can make right now for your leadership development to help you further your leadership development, and commit to that. These are the key takeaway points. You're welcome to look at them again or review the video. I thank you again for coming to this lecture, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.